You're probably wondering why I have this man's picture up on the screen next to me. I'm going to explain that. I want to talk about masculinity. And I want to talk about how it feels or it seems like it's been hijacked. And basically, I want to get into who it's been hijacked by and what kind of effects that this whole thing has had on our culture, on our society in general. It kind of saddens me to even have to address this, but I feel the need to speak about it, and so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't know who's going to care about what I have to say about it. I don't know who's going to listen, and hopefully somebody does, hopefully it reaches somebody. So it seems to me, from what I've witnessed in the past, 10 or 15 years or so, basically since the advent of social media, is that there's been this sort of hustle or scam that's been happening where you have tech bros and gym bros and motivational speakers and all these kind of people that want to make money on the internet and putting out video after video about, go to the gym and work out, or, get money and hustle, figure it out, stop feeling sorry for yourself type motivation. And then these videos, they not only permeated our young men and the culture of our young men, but they misled in a lot of ways by trying to basically tell young men what masculinity really represented or what it was, but they really missed the mark big time in a major way. And in a lot of ways, they did it on purpose, disingenuously, because they felt that telling young men what they wanted to hear was a way to get paid, a way to get views, and a way to enrich themselves. And of course, everybody being out for their own agenda and out for their own capitalistic gains resulted in some pretty damn damaging stuff that is tearing apart the fabric of our country, our culture, and everything. And I think you guys know that, when I speak of these people, I'm talking about your Andrew Tates, and this crazy propaganda and a lot of religious propaganda, hardcore fringe right propaganda, all kinds of different types of stuff. But they used the idea that they were going to motivate young men, that they were going to encourage them to go to the gym or to work out or to better their lives, while also ingraining into them sort of ideologies that are just flawed in every way. So the reason why I have Oriole Palmer's picture up here on the screen, this is Oriole Palmer, for those of you who don't know. Oriole Palmer was a fireman. He was the first person to arrive on the scene on 9/11 in New York. And he showed up to Building 1 when the plane hit. And he is a hero because when he first arrived, and he was the first person on the scene, he ran up, I think it was 56 flights of stairs or something like that, with 150 pounds of fireman gear on. I mean, think about that. 56 flights of stairs with 150 pounds of fireman gear on. Not easy to do. And he ran up to the impact zone where the plane had hit the building. He went in, tried to round everybody up, and started to bring them down the hallway of the building when the building collapsed, and he died, along with all the people he was trying to save. Pretty sad story, actually. Oriole Palmer was married. He had children. He was a family man. They called him Music Man, because he loved music and was always known to be listening to music in some kind of way. And the reason why I'm talking about him is because he represents real masculinity to me. And I'm going to explain why. So when I think of like masculinity, there's like kind of 5 core things, and we're going to go through them. The first one is commitment, the ability to commit, right? That is such a trait of masculinity, is the ability to commit. Now, obviously we know that Oriole Palmer was married and had kids, so he didn't want to run into a building and run up to the impact zone where it was burning and a plane was, smashed into it. And there was all these people who, he was going to save. He didn't want to do that inherently. That's not like something he was like, oh, that would be fun. I want to go do that because I'm going to enjoy it. He didn't want to do that. There's no doubt about that. He did not want to do that. The reason why he did it is because he made a commitment to do it. He made a commitment to the fire department and to his community to run up in a burning building and save lives. He made a commitment to do that. And that commitment outweighed everything else. Period. Because he made a commitment. So that's your first, in my view, the first definition of what it means to be a man. Then let's talk about the second, discipline. The kind of discipline that it takes to be fit and strong enough to carry 150 pounds of fireman gear on and be able to run up 56 flights of stairs takes some serious discipline. Unbelievable amounts of discipline. And that is commendable, to be that disciplined, to be able to do that. I'm pretty regimented these days, a lot more than I used to be. And I don't think I can wear 150 pounds of fireman gear and run up 56 flights of stairs. That's not easy to do. That takes serious amounts of discipline. The third thing is self-sacrifice. What I mean by self-sacrifice is that obviously, like I said, he didn't want to run up in a building that was burning and save lives when he was married and had kids, save strangers, people that he didn't know. It's not something he didn't want to do, but he was doing it for the betterment of his community. He was doing it for something bigger than himself, something that goes beyond himself and his own needs. And quite frankly, that is a very important masculine trait. The guys that go out and, do all these like heroic things, whether they're policemen or whether they're firemen or whether they're, even doctors saving lives, like all these men that are out in the world, not that there aren't female doctors, because there are, but I'm speaking on behalf of men right now. All these men out there that are doing things that are for their community, coaching sports teams, donating time, whether it be at soup kitchens or helping, like giving some of your energy to a cause that is larger than yourself. That's self-sacrifice. That is so integral when it comes to masculinity. And the reason why it's integral is because we're going to get into the fourth trait, okay, which is self-control. Here, this is a big one. This is a real big one. Because to have the humility, okay, to be humble, takes a level of self-control. And to understand that you're not the center of the universe, to understand that there's other things in the world that are more important to you, takes a level of self-control. But even more importantly, there's this sort of ideology out there now where a lot of these young men seem to believe that the more power and control they have over others, the more masculine they seem, or the more masculine they are. The alpha male vibe, right? You're an alpha because you dominate and you control others and you have power over others. But that is not masculinity. Masculinity, true masculinity, is having power and control over yourself. It's the ability to, despite our urges, of course, we want power, we want money, we want to be able to have everything we want, any woman we want, we want all these things. But you have to be able to have self-control and power over yourself to be able to put restraints on yourself. And that's huge. That's a big part of it. A big part of it. And that leads me to the fifth thing, which is accountability. Holding yourself accountable is a big part of how you have all of these things. If you want to be committed and you break your commitments, you need to hold yourself accountable for that. If you want to be disciplined and you break your regiment, then you need to hold yourself accountable for that. If you're undisciplined and you gain weight, or you don't control your diet, or you don't control, you don't pay your bills, you're not on top of your stuff, then you need to hold yourself accountable for those things. And we have a huge problem today in our culture. We have a president who does not hold himself accountable, who does not have discipline whatsoever. I mean, look at him. He does not have the issues of the desire for self-sacrifice. In fact, he's cruel. He punches down. Being a man in today's world, to provide and protect, protect being the key word, we're supposed to challenge people that have more power than us, and we're supposed to protect people that have less power than us. And when you decide to flex your power so that you can control and dominate people that have less power than you, that's not masculinity. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It reeks of insecurity. It reeks of inferiority complex. Nobody great throughout history that ever had these thoughts, whether it be Mussolini or Adolf Hitler or, even Putin today. These people, they don't exhibit real masculine traits. That's not masculinity. It's just not. So obviously I'm in support of young men going to the gym, not making excuses for themselves, trying to get out there and change their lives, trying to get successful at anything that they're trying to do. All of that's great. But when that starts to bleed into this concept, this ideology that you're not a man if you don't have power over others, you're not a man if you can't dominate and control your woman, if you can't put her in her place, or if you can't, that's not what masculinity is. Your job isn't to put anyone in anyone's place except yourself. And when you become the kind of guy that can do that, when you become committed, disciplined, willing to self-sacrifice, having self-control, and holding yourself accountable, when you become that kind of person, you exhibit real masculine traits. You're a man. That's what a man is. Oreo Palmer is a man. In fact, to this day, firemen every year on September 11th have an exercise where they run up 56 flights of stairs, or however many flights of stairs it was. I know it's a lot. I think it was like, I want to say 56. In his honor, these firemen run up these flights of steps for him. He'll be remembered forever because of his heroic duty. Punching down is a bully behavior. Yes, it is. It 100% is. And being a bully is not masculine. It's just not. And I don't know what happened to our society. I mean, I do. A lot of like social media and misinformation and people misleading people that led to this. But I do know that when we have a country that looks up to people that have cheated, that have lied their whole life, scammed, ripped people off, didn't really exhibit these sort of real masculine traits, then we have an entire generation of young men that are going to grow up to become completely toxic to society, to our culture. And it's not good. And it leads to a place where apathy becomes some sort of symbol of machoism. Like, oh, you care? What are you, a pussy? You care? You care about other people, you pussy? I mean, is this the society that we're supposed to live in? That's a good, healthy environment, you think? You think that that's even viable? You think it's even viable to build a society around a mentality like that? Because I can assure you it's not. It's not possible. Anyway, again, I don't know who's going to see this. I don't know who's going to, but hopefully this will resonate with somebody. Kyle, if you're out there, Kyle Edson, you're a sharp young man. I talk to you often, and if you hear this, I hope this resonates. I hope you can spread the word to other kids your age, and just that we realize, that you guys realize as a whole, that like that this insane machoistic ideology that's permeating our young male culture is completely toxic and leading our society in the wrong direction. If you're a man, you protect people. You don't hurt them. You don't bully them. You don't do cruel things to them and act like it's fine. That's not masculine. Anyway, like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it if you liked the video.